Boom. Hi, guys. Here it is, Memorial Day, 25th of May, year of our Lord 2026. I just want to tell a quick story. I was driving down the highway a couple days ago, and up on the overpass, you had people who put up the letters for a sign that said honor and remember. And they were, holding up American flags, and I honked at them, and they were grateful for that. But, it's a good place to start in remembering the importance of Memorial Day. And yeah, so, I think of my family members who served, I served, there are others, and what they went through, all right? What they went through. So to take a moment and just to think back on what happened to them. But the other part I wanted to add to this is we can't just remember those who died and are remembered on Memorial Day. You had those who survived, but they have been carrying all kinds of burdens, not just PTSD as a result. So yes, we need better social services for veterans. That much is true. But on this day, this moment, to remember them and to think about ways in which we can help them. That's all I got to say on that right now. So in the meantime, on a more challenging note, the doofus, that would be Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, made a rather outrageous statement the other day. Can you see that? Is that about right? Okay. Yes, we must break the spirit of MAGA people. Mr. Jeffries? Like hell. Ain't happening, dude. And thank you for inspiring us a little bit more. All right, moving on. The other thing I wanted to bring, so I mentioned I get losing track here of what I've been talking about. All right, what I would like to lead with is a story about a survey that was done about the terrifying rise of schoolboys making AI girlfriends. So this is from research that was done in Britain. And see, it says here, new research has revealed that 1 in 5 boys aged 12 to 16 is either in or knows of a boy their age who is in a romantic relationship with an AI companion. Okay? Well, that's a number that would only grow, such as it was. Looked at 1,000 boys ages 12 to 16 in 37 public state grammar and comprehensive schools in England. Okay? And yeah, what was the other part here? 85% had a conversation with a chatbot. 43% said they were talking to bots so they can ask questions without feeling embarrassed. And more than a quarter, 26%, say they like the attention and connection over real-life equivalents. So one thing to keep in mind is when they talk about this, boys have the opportunity to create they're creating a girl with a look they like and with a personality they like. And you shouldn't be surprised that in most cases, that would be somebody who's obedient, polite, caring, not someone who's going to have moods and problems and drama like what would happen in a real relationship. So you're going to have to learn how to deal with reality, boys. I hate to break the news. So the popular websites are Character.ai, Replica, Candy AI, and Our Dream AI. Create your own dream AI girl. 36 million monthly visits. And that's just for that one. The others have tons of them as well. I mean, if you add them all up, it's over 100 million who are using this, right? So that is the problem in a nutshell. But I just want to add a note of hope here is I think that as this grows, the boys will form little groups and they'll share their AI girlfriends with each other. And maybe they'll get into the whole idea of creating different kinds of AI girlfriends. So maybe something good can come out of this, but the way this is right now, this could not be worse. Could not be worse. It's just one more thing besides video games to have young males confined in a corner, afraid of life, basically. So let me just add something completely different here, but related to what it means to be a man. I came across an article today about an experiment that was done concerning men, testosterone, and truth. Did you get that? I said it to you, Eric. Did you read it? Yeah, I thought it was very interesting. So the nub of it was that you had two groups of men. One was given testosterone, the other was given a placebo, and then they were presented with a challenge. And the challenge was, if you had the opportunity to steal some money and do it with no consequences whatsoever, would you do it? And the surprise finding is those men who had more testosterone turned out to be more honest. They did not want to go down the path of lying and such, even if it was without consequences. So it's almost like testosterone seems to arouse something that is a conscience in men, right? So I don't know if we could say the same thing for estrogen, because I'm going to say it. You have lots of research showing that women lie a lot more than men do. So maybe estrogen causes people to lie and testosterone makes them tell the truth. What a combination. All right, so enough on that one. Now I'm going to really shift here. This is an entree to what's going on in Iran. Yeah, we're going to have to talk about this. How am I doing on time?
Keep going.
Okay, so Pakistan deploys major combat force to Saudi Arabia. So, you know, one of the things that we're learning about this conflict with Iran is the complex sets, plural, of relationships that exist between the different countries in the Gulf region. One of them is the relationship between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. So, folks, how many of you know that Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signed a mutual defense agreement? Which, by the way, is the kind of stuff that happened in the run-up to World War I. Austria, Germany, Hungary and Austria, I guess, and France and some other country. So every time somebody attacked somebody else, that triggered these treaties that caused more people to step in until you had a conflagration that had swallowed up pretty much all of Europe. Now we have the same thing in the Mideast, only in this case we're concentrating just on Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. And what it comes down to is that Pakistan has the technology, has the personnel and the capability, and that's right, Saudi Arabia has the money. And it's P.S. The Pakistan economy remains in trouble. So wherever they can get some money, they're going to do it. And so they're doing it here. Pakistan is sending, I believe, yes, 8,000 troops to Saudi Arabia. You need to stop and absorb this. Wait, troops from Pakistan going to Saudi Arabia? I'm pretty sure that has never happened before. And why are they doing it now? Because Iran is being a jerk. All right, having already launched some attacks. They've attacked everybody at some point in time in the last 2 months. So in this case, they're deploying the troops, the jet squadron, and air defense systems, because they expect Iran to behave even worse coming soon. So that's part of another discussion. So to me, this is a good news, bad news article. All right, good in the sense that it will probably put a little pressure on Iran, but it's bad in the sense that it won't take much for this to get out of control. You know, it's just really. Okay, so since I brought that up, now I'm going to talk about Iran. Some of you may or may not be aware of something called the Abraham Accords. This was created, 6 years ago, 4 years ago, something like that. The purpose of the Abraham Accords was to get the Gulf countries to become, and Mediterranean countries to treat Israel a little bit nicer. The whole objective is to get them to acknowledge the legitimate existence of Israel and to develop commercial and trade ties with each other going forward. There are 2 countries, I believe, that have signed on so far, and others have indicated that they're willing. One that has indicated a willingness but not done it yet is Saudi Arabia. I think United Arab Emirates signed that accord. I'm not sure which is the other country. It could be Qatar, but I don't think so. So in any event, so what has happened now is that President Trump has taken these Abraham Accords and he has weaponized them. Okay? He is, shall we say, encouraging, in the same way that Al Capone would not Al Capone, I'm sorry, the Godfather would encourage you because, yes, he's going to make an offer you can't refuse. So you're going to find that President Trump is going to make you an offer you can't refuse with respect to joining the Abraham Accords. So on this, stay tuned. This does so many things, because if they do, they're agreeing to work closely with Israel. And by the way, before we even get into that, Israel's already been paying visits, all right? They're already talking about cooperating, working together on things concerning Iran. I'm pretty sure that the elements of the Israeli government had visits with the Saudis, right? And maybe some other people. So it's almost like everything's kind of organically moving in a certain direction. And all of that said, we have to remember that like it or not, Iran still has some chops, okay? They're still funding Hamas, they're still funding Hezbollah, they're still helping the Houthis, although the Houthis aren't doing as much as they said they'd do. They're still in the fight, if you will, okay? And so I have to take offense at President Trump's recent meme. Did you see it on Truth Social? It's one of these, loud, colorful pictures of attacking the Iranian Navy. Well, I thought that we sunk the Navy. So he's showing pictures of Iranian naval ships that we supposedly sunk. Now they're being attacked, and it says adios. Yeah, well, it's already gone, so what's the adios stuff all about? Yeah, so President Trump, I'm not sure you're being as consistent as some of us would expect you to be when it comes to how you portray the status of Iran with respect to its military equipment and capabilities. The real focus should be on the bug boats because they have a lot of them. And why they haven't been destroyed yet, that's a whole other discussion, okay? But in any event, setting up Arab Accords to weaponize this, it is, in my mind, a brilliant effort to push the people in the Gulf together in order to press against Iran. So that's a good thing. All right, so there's that. I want to bring up, let's see here, where do they go? Did I mention? I can't remember. All right, ludicrous, yes. I'll read the title. Ludicrous. Democrats kill plan for women's museum because it would be about women. You can't have a women's museum about women, not in the age of transgenderism. No. So this will be revisited, but it just shows how illogical and inconsistent Democrats have become when they force themselves into a position like this, where they say we're not going to approve something for women because, well, that's not how we think about women. Yeah, I'm not going there. Okay, so there's that. All right, one other thing here. How about this one? Oh, yeah, I like this one. CEO saves his failing company by firing the entire HR department. So, as I've said before, the HR department is the evil empire. That's right, the evil empire. And this article hits on a couple of key points here. HR departments have assumed too much power for themselves. It would be a first step. Let me just follow up here. Okay, so at this company called Bolt, the CEO, Ryan Breslow, saved his company from implosion by firing his entire HR department. So he would have rehired a couple of people for record-keeping purposes. Other than that, no mas. And the interesting part here, there are some important statistics here. Where did it go? Just looking at this, I'll find it. Okay, human resource employees are 75 to 80% women and 18% LGBT. Now, some corporations still hold on to this crap. That's too bad, but the demographics of the HR department were clearly out of step with the rest of the company. That's putting it nicely. And why women were mostly hired for HR, I don't understand, but there it is. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next thing here as quickly as I can. I want to talk quickly about the weirdest food additive you've ever heard of, okay? When I saw this, I had to stop and think for a second. I'm just going to rattle off some descriptive items here. Okay, deuterium. Ladies and gentlemen, so you have hydrogen. If you may recall, hydrogen is one proton and one electron. However, if you add a neutron to that, then you have something called deuterium. If you add two neutrons, you have tritium, which is an unstable isotope. So that said, a certain percentage of our body actually has deuterium in it. And I'm here to remind you once again, deuterium is not your friend. If the amount of deuterated water in your body was high enough, it would kill you. Okay, so deuterium can be lethal. Fortunately, as it is, it's a relatively rare isotope at about 150 parts per million in your body. But what is an unanswered question here is whether or not there are some food sources that would have higher levels of deuterium. So let me just rattle this part off here. There's another aspect of this. It's called deuterium depleted water. And this is going to become sort of the new health fad. And the idea is by drinking deuterium depleted water, you're going to improve your health across the board. So every organ, your circulation, you name it. So what do we got just quickly here? What was it? Enhancing long-term memory in rats, reducing free radical oxidation, which is a general benefit, regulate lipid metabolism, that would be obesity. It's a surprising area, and there's more to it than meets the eye. Nobody's talked about it, so on that happy note, I'll see you next week.